super creamy. Oh wow, you guys gotta see this. You can see these lines here, see these streaks? Oh, that's cool. That is very cool. Hey guys, Frankie Martinez here with How to Tile Like a Pro, and today I am here with Lonnie and Chris from Custom Building Products, and they're here showing us their brand new grout. It's called Prism SCG, right?
SCG,
and
single component.
I thought it stood for super cool
grout.
That's what Lonnie says. Lonnie says this stands for super cool grout. So Prism is a good grout. I love Prism grout. I've used it for a lot of times. So what's the difference between the regular Prism and this Prism SCG?
Well, the regular Prism is a great product because we guarantee the color. It does a 16th joint.
Yeah, which I love.
Same benefits you're going to get out of Prism, but the single component, what you're going to get is consistency. You're going to get consistency in color, and you're also going to get the stain resistance that you would like to have with like an epoxy type product. So it's a single component acrylic base. So you're not going to have that efflorescence or anything coming through it because there is no cement. There is no moisture going to be traveling through it.
So I got to ask this, custom building products with a single component grout, first thing that comes to our minds is fusion.
Yes. So that was the old product. So that was a good product, but you had to change your method of installation.
So this is replacing fusion now?
Correct.
So fusion is gone. No more fusion. Okay.
No more confusion.
I like that, confusion. So what's the difference of this and fusion? Because in my mind, I would think it's the custom. Well, what's the difference?
It's the same. The only similarities I would say between this and the Fusion product is in their 1 gallon bucket, and they're both a single component acrylic.
Okay.
The big difference is we formulated a product after several years of testing, designed our own formulation to be able to make it easier for the contractor to be able to do their cleanup.
So is that
the biggest complaint?
This is supposed to be way easier?
Way easier.
It says the easiest grout to install, period.
I thought that was just a sales pitch, but
No, it's
you're
not.
telling me.
The easiest grout to install, period.
By far the easiest to install.
And so why? I mean, I haven't used it yet. You know, I'm going to use it soon, but I haven't used it. So why is it the easiest?
Well, it's easiest to grout to install because there's no mixing, no headaches.
Gotcha.
Consistent
right
color. This is the product right here.
This already? Did you tell them about the size 15?
Okay.
Very stable. The more you
Yeah.
work it, the creamier the product gets. So if you pull some of the product out, this has actually been after a full cure, very dense, very hard.
It feels very almost like clumpy.
Yes, it almost feels like Play-Doh.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel.
Yes.
Oh, okay. At the bottom, it feels creamier. Though,
Exactly. This is an older bucket
Okay,
I've had in the
so-
back of my truck for my demos.
Okay.
Keep an eye out.
But the more you move it around, right? So just like when you're using it out in the field, the more you move the product around, you can already see it's starting to break down and starting to get a lot more creamier.
Okay, let me try it. Let me get the feel.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, very. Okay, very. Yeah. When I first grabbed, I'm like, dude, that's so clumpy and dry.
It's been in the back of my truck, yes.
Yeah, but
Temperature's
no,
been a little
it's super
cooler.
creamy, super creamy.
So you can see how it holds even going vertical. That it'll
Yeah.
hold in the joints. You won't get any of that slumping. So it holds in the joints on a vertical application. So the main thing is getting it nice and full. You can pack your joints in there. But the main thing is to get it at a 90 degree, get as much of that product off of there after you've done your install. Not only to get as much off the surface, but also to maintain your consistency as far as coverage, right? Because this will give you the same coverage that you get out of one box of Prism, out of a 1 gallon.
Nice.
So super easy to work with as far as the install.
And I overheard you earlier. You said the shelf life is 2 years. 2 years, which is double the amount of a regular Prism, right?
That is correct.
So
The
2 years
cement-
is still going to feel this creamy?
Yes.
Wow.
The main thing is when you're using this product is to get as much as you can back into the bucket. At the end, say you're done with the project, making sure that your edge is nice and clean so we get a good seal with the lid.
Gotcha.
If it's opened or not completely sealed, air is going to get in there and it's going to start to cure from the top down.
But
That's why you notice on the top is a little bit stiffer because I've been opening
it's been
it as well.
drying. It's been drying.
Exactly.
So having it open while you're working, does that
No.
probably kill the shelf life or no?
Yeah, if you're working with it, you're going to install. You're going to consistently be working with it. It's going to keep it moving, and in volume, it takes longer for it to dry. It's just on the surface. So if I went to lunch and I left it open, and I went to lunch for an hour, the top is going to start to get a little crusty. You
gotcha.
take that part off and
Gotcha.
continue to go.
Gotcha. Cool. So I heard some of the benefits is it doesn't. It's good for vertical, so it's not supposed to sag. I've used Fusion before, and I literally hated it. It was so hard vertically. I mean, it was sagging. It was sagging like epoxy. This,
Yes.
you're promising me, is not going to do that.
Yes. Because of the product, the way it's designed,
It's just a whole different design.
epoxies are very fluid. So once they start to sit in vertical application, they always want to droop.
Yeah.
Right? Cement grouts stack and hold up really well. Because of the aggregate size in here, we went with a very fine aggregate. To be able to do down to 16th, they stack really well. So inside of vertical application, they're going to hold up in the joints.
Gotcha. And then, so yeah, my friend Augie mentioned earlier about like if a joint is not completely filled with thinset or there's voids, with Fusion, it would actually travel and go down those voids.
Correct. We'll do the same, but you have to have the pressure. If you do a gravity feed,
So
troweling,
it's still going to go underneath.
absolutely. Well, it's all in the application, right? So if I'm using my float and I'm gravity feeding it in there, it's not going to flow down there like an epoxy or fluid.
Okay.
It's going to have to be forced into there. So you would have
Okay.
to do a two-hand method, forcing it into your joints, fully packing them. That'll take up any voids underneath.
But it's not supposed to sink no more.
It's not,
Okay,
because if
gotcha.
it did that, then your grouts would sink. So we don't want the grout joints to sink.
Exactly. One of the perks that I talked to you, well, I don't know, a couple of weeks about this, and you mentioned that you can actually smear a whole lot of it on the wall.
Yes.
Or
so
floor.
Typically we're going to say 30 minutes to 45 minutes up to an hour, depending on conditions. So here in California,
Yeah.
near the coast, we're mild temperatures.
Yeah.
So we can extend that cleaning time. So it's really up to the area that you're working in, knowing your environment. The tile contractor is the professional.
Yeah.
He knows what he's dealing with.
Yeah,
Hot weather, you're going to
Obviously,
shorten it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
exactly.
So we say, use that benchmark of a half hour. You
Yeah.
can get on it immediately if you wanted to. If you wanted to install and immediately do it, the grout joints are going to be a little softer, so you're going to be a little lighter handed when you're
Gotcha,
cleaning.
yeah.
And you can clean as you go like you used to be able to do with Fusion. But with this product, I actually like it better after a half hour.
Wow.
After a half hour,
Yeah.
it's set up in the joints, a lot fuller, and a little bit crusted over, so give it a little more strength, so I don't force that joint out or wash it out, right, or
Gotcha.
sink it.
That's actually a huge perk, to be able to like maybe even just grout a whole shower, grout the whole 3 walls, depending how fast you can do it. But if you can grout the whole 3 walls and then come back and wipe them, would that be feasible?
Absolutely. It all depends on, again, temperature,
Yeah,
your
exactly.
application,
Yeah.
how much time you take. Because now instead of having to do one wall, wash that wall down, or do small areas where you're going to drop water into your other joints,
Yeah.
or bleeding, right? So if I went from the bottom up, I would create bleeding as the water's coming down over the top of the ground. Now I can do the full shower in that timeline, right? Being consistent on the timelines, a vertical or horizontal on the floor doesn't change anything. So,
That's cool.
yeah, so the nice thing about it is you don't have to add any chemicals or anything to your wash water. And I'll show you a quick demonstration just how easily this product cleans up. And again, it's only been on there for a matter of minutes. But even with that being said, if you rub your finger on it, you'll notice it's already starting to dry because it's
Oh wow! Okay, you guys gotta see this. Okay, that's obviously, but right here, look at this. I'm not even having finger streaks on this, so it's definitely drying. Now I'm rubbing hard, and I can. Okay, so let's see
You can
what
get
water
on.
does with it.
So go ahead and wipe that on. No pressure, no added
Oh
chemicals.
yeah!
And
Wow!
you already see that it already starts to break it down.
Wow! That is great. So we don't need any. Wow, that is impressive. Here
No
again,
specials, no-
Look at that. You can see these lines here. See these streaks, and then I'm gonna go. My finger is not taking away those streaks. Gonna
Just
go.
the moisture in your hand, right? So I got a little water on my hand. And if I just do this a little bit with my fingers, you can see that it already starts to break it down.
Oh, that's cool. That is very cool. Wow. All right.
That's why we call it Super Cool Grout.
That's impressive. I'm looking forward to trying it out.
Well, the final step, a nice thing about this product, what I really love about it, is how easily it repairs. So if I do have a low-lying joint, right, I don't have to dig that joint out now because it is acrylic. It'll marry to itself. So I can now do a repair
Oh, gotcha.
or a
And
low-lying
just
grout
go on
joint.
top. You can
Absolutely. Even when I'm doing my wash or my dressing my joints, like you're doing right now, you can find areas that you may have missed, the guy who's washing, and now go ahead and do the repair and anything else and fill those areas as you need.
I'm gonna get a full experience. I want to see what this looks like. Oh, does it leave haze? Because I know.
If you don't use a product like a microfiber,
Okay.
either a microfiber sponge or just a standard microfiber rag, and drag it across there, because it's acrylic, it could leave a haze on it.
Little
which looks like
residue.
shining. But even after you've done that, if you come across your final wash with a microfiber, you'll notice that it removes all that extra little acrylic that was on the surface.
So you recommend in like like I would have wiped it first and then do a final wipe, but it looks like you did the initial wipe and it took looks like it took it all off.
Yes. So you do an initial wash like you were doing, dressing all your joints after your first wash. After that, you can now clean and do your final all in one step.
Wow.
I don't have to go across the room and then drop back.
Because normally what I would do is something like this. I would go like this.
Yep.
You know, like that.
Yep.
And then do a final wash after to get haze off.
Exactly. And
but you're
this
saying
application
I could just use this clean guy right here and just go just like this.
Yep, no pressure. Let that front lip sit on there so it glides it off. And you can see how it grabbed on the microfiber.
Yeah. But it looks really good. And if it does get a haze,
no problem.
What? Just water?
Just water.
No.
You can actually come back within, say, even within the next 3 to 5 days. If there's a little bit of haze on there, typically it's the next day that the customer's going to go, hey, I noticed there's a shiny spot.
Yeah.
That's usually because the acrylic's still sitting on there, or it may just be a light haze. Again, just put a little water on it, let it dwell on there for about a few minutes.
Agitate it,
You
maybe?
can agitate it with the white scrubby pad,
Yeah.
and then just wipe it right off with a sponge, and it'll come right off.
That sounds super cool.
It is pretty cool.
That's super cool.
That's what we call it, super cool grout.
That's cool. So what are these here? What are these?
These are just examples of just
Sustainability.
the grout itself. This is just a sample of the new grout, super cool grout, and this is
They're all three the same color? Or?
they're all three the same color. This one's a little bit dirty, but you can kind of see how the water kind of soaks into the grout. That's just a regular cement grout, and this is the new super cool grout.
Oh, this, okay. So this is your...
You wipe that off. Look at this right here.
You can see the absorbency.
So pour some more of that one. Let's see. The live pour. Oh, yeah, okay.
Water just feeds on it.
Wow.
Because it's acrylic, there is no pores. There's no way for the actual water to penetrate.
So this thing this grout does everything an epoxy does, but it's not an epoxy. It's totally stain resistant, water resistant.
Really?
It's an acrylic. It's an amazing product.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. With what I think one of the huge benefits is it comes with all the colors that custom provides, which is, I think you guys have like one of the biggest color selections right here.
Yeah, it's available in all 4
Yeah, it's really, oh,
Yes.
that's great. Yeah, that's good.
And the nice thing is too, no matter if it's a light colored grout or a dark colored grout, you're going to get color consistency. So there's no mixing really. All the biggest problems that we have with grouts is the process, right? So the guy who mixes it doesn't measure.
Or they didn't mix it the same.
consistency,
Yeah.
right, from
One's
one guy to
wetter,
the
one's thicker, one's something
Absolutely.
like that.
And this product here, there's no mixing. So you pull it right out and start going.
That's great.
So if you do a repair, it's going to match. It's going to go back in. It's going to look just like the original grout.
That's good. I mean, that sounds like what I'm looking for, honestly. I'm looking for the best grout. So my thing is, you know, as an installer, we do a great job. The last thing we want to worry about is inconsistent grout color.
Well, callbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the killer on the job.
I mean,
the installation looks perfect. The layout is perfect.
Yeah.
And what do they call you back? They're focusing on the
there's how come this is darker? This is especially the dark grays. That's why when I try this, I have to. I want to compare it with the dark. I'm gonna get like, what is this? I had a nightmare once with one of your dark grays. I had it ended up staining it. It might not even have been Prism. It might have been before Prism.
Right.
Yeah. And oh, that was a nightmare. So
charcoal is typically the biggest nightmare in all.
Okay, is it really?
Yeah, because gray pigment always seems to wash out and cause shadowing or pigment inconsistency. So you get some different shading of it. So this one here, you're really gonna like it. Like I said, we've changed the industry. This is the new game changer of the industry. So
well, I love what I'm seeing. I do, and I love the way it cleaned up. Like, I like how we could see it dry, and it seemed to wash off really well. I like that you don't have to use a chemical to clean it. Even if you do have a haze, you can just get water, because other like similar single component grouts, I'd have to go buy some special spray to get the haze off.
Yeah, some guys will add a little bit of dish soap or something like that to do their final. We haven't found that necessary in the product. So it's a good benefit to not have something else you're introducing yourself to, or something else you got to carry on the truck. You want to be able to just go, hey, I can go send my guy out. If he does have some repairs to do, he now goes out with a bucket, a float, and a sponge.
Yeah, that's
and he does his repairs.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
No looking for the grout again, hoping it's the same grout consistency and color. Every single time you're going to get the same product.
Warm gray, good color, perfect color consistency.
And you'll notice that when I did this installation, originally did it the joints are nice and full.
Yeah.
If you do come across an area where the grout joint is low, right?
And it's
happens.
a big joint too, which
This
is
is a-
harder to get full. It's harder
Exactly.
to get full with a big
It
joint
stocks
like
really well
that.
because
Yeah.
there's a small aggregate in it.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, guys. So what do you guys think about this Prism Super Cool Grout, also known as SCG Single Component Grout? I think it's good. I'm looking forward to trying it out. I'm gonna actually use it on a job and do another review after I use it vertically with a darker color, and we'll see if Lonnie's telling the truth, because you know, if everything Chris says about him is true, then it is true.
I want to bring up one real quick point.
Yes.
The cost of this product, you're looking at about between $70 and $80 a gallon.
How much?
$70 and $80 a gallon.
Okay.
So it's a little more expensive, but for all the
Probably-
workability characteristics,
Yeah.
and the end product, the product is amazing.
Yeah, which is actually not too far off in price to, you know, good.
Other single components that are on the
Exactly,
market.
exactly.
Absolutely.
So it's about double the price of a regular Prism.
Correct. It's
But
about
I
double
mean,
the cost.
but you don't have to worry at all. And
Exactly.
as a contractor, that's my number one thing. I don't want to think twice about grout. I want to
And
pick
the
a
best thing
color.
you wanna have is callbacks, right?
Yeah,
Because
no,
even if you have a
yeah,
callback
yeah.
for a small repair or even a shadowing
Yeah.
or some kind of problem, you're lost 4 hours out of your day.
100%, 100%. Okay, well, I don't know, guys. I think I might have found my answer. I will put it to the test and let you guys know if it works. Prism SCG. Thanks, Lonnie, for this spending time showing us what's
Absolutely.
up. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Custom building products. Check them out, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what you think about this grout in the comments.